What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we are going to be showcasing the best vendor weapons available for this week, which is May 2nd to the 9th. Now that's because with the introduction of the Age of Triumph, vendors now have rotating perks on their weapons. So every week we go in and showcase the best combinations that you should definitely take a look at. Now very quickly, the purpose of these videos are to showcase all of the weapons worth looking at. Whether or not you're a super experienced player, just interested in the god rolls, or a newer player looking to upgrade your arsenal, you'll be able to watch this video and know what's going on. I'm not in the business of making a super short video where I go, this weapon's good, trust me fam, moving on. I like to actually explain why a weapon is good, why certain perks are good, and where in Destiny you can actually utilize these weapons. And doing so may take a little bit of extra time, but at the end of the day, you're going to be a lot more knowledgeable about what's going on. So, now let's start the video. We're going to start with the first two universal vendors, and that means beginning where we always begin, with the Crucible Quartermaster. And this guy has the absolute best role, I think, this week, and we're going to get to that very soon. Firstly, however, there is a very decent hero formula scout rifle role. This scout rifle is pretty unique because it is one of the fastest firing archetypes of scout rifles, and those are not around very much. We've got Rodeo, which is going to decrease the vertical recoil a little bit. Then we have Hand-Laid Stock. Now, between this and Brace Frame, both of those perks you really want because you get a huge increase to stability. And with the fastest firing archetype, you really need that stability increase. Hand-Laid Stock does lower the range, but it keeps the magazine size intact, which is pretty decent. And ending everything off, we have Hidden Hand, which is going to increase the aim assist, just making this weapon a little bit easier to use. If you want these fast-firing scout rifles, this week's hero formula is definitely quite decent. Moving on from there, we've got it. We've got the absolute god roll Palindrome hand cannon. This hand cannon is the most used weapon in the Crucible right now, for good reason. And you are not going to find a better roll than what's available this week. If you can buy anything this week, buy this Palindrome. And for God's sakes, if you missed out on any other god roll palindromes being sold in the past, buy it this week. So why is it good? Well, we've got some decent sights. We have, very importantly, Icarus. This perk is going to increase your in-air accuracy, meaning that you can jump around and still land consistent shots on your opponent while in the air. Hand cannons naturally have already quite good in-air accuracy, so increasing that even further is going to make you super deadly in PvP. A lot of people swear by hand cannons plus Icarus, and it very much can suit a very aggressive PvP playstyle. If you don't want Icarus, you have Mulligan, where missing is going to potentially refund 1 ammo to your magazine. That's actually pretty decent as well. Very importantly, we have the best perk you're looking for, Rifled Barrel. Massively increases the range, which is exactly what you want on a hand cannon, and lowers the reload, which is, you know, not ideal in a perfect world, but still definitely not that big of a downside for how much range you're getting. And importantly, this also has explosive rounds, which is the absolute best perk you're looking for in a PvE role. You could seriously just switch Rifled Barrel to explosive rounds, and then you have a really good PvE hand cannon. Like, this role has it all. And wrapping everything off, we have Rangefinder. Aiming down sights increases the range. Amazing perk with hand cannons. Guys, again, this role just has it all. Definitely pick it up. Moving on, however, because we have some more good weapons to showcase, we have the Each New Day Fusion Rifle. This weapon has some pretty darn good perks. Life support is actually quite good with fusion rifles because you often get hurt while you're charging. Unflinching is actually going to be not bad. You know, you can aim down sights on your target while you're charging, and unflinching is going to help you land that shot, like for real. After that, importantly, Rifled Barrel, decreasing the reload, massively increasing the range. One of the most important factors with a fusion rifle. This really kind of makes this gun. And also we have Hot Swap, which is surprisingly good with fusion rifles. Being able to switch to your fusion rifle, get that huge bonus to your accuracy, and then getting a shot off is no joke. So if you need a good fusion rifle, this each new day is pretty damn decent. And the 44 curtain call, for those of you who keep watching this series, you'll know this weapon is on an absolute roll. Every single week, it seems like it's a very good roll, and this week, it continues its hot streak. We have, firstly, some quite good ballistics, with Field Choke increasing the impact and the range, probably what I would pick, but also you have Aggressive Ballistics, hugely increasing that damage. Then after that, knee pads, you can slide further with the shotgun, actually pretty decent in PvP, and then performance bonus, surprisingly good in the current PvP meta. Getting a kill can get you a shot back into the magazine. Considering special ammo is so limited in PvP right now, performance bonus is one of the best perks, honestly. After that, reinforced barrel. One of the best perks you're looking for. It lowers the stability, so probably rifle barrel would be a little bit better, but it's going to drastically increase the range, exactly what you want on a shotgun. And lastly, crowd control. Rangefinder would probably be better here, but crowd control, getting a kill and then getting a damage bonus for each kill within a short time frame after is definitely pretty decent. And then moving on, we have a decent Anton's Rule sidearm roll. We've got, firstly, Feeding Frenzy, increasing the reload when you get kills, decent, and then Zen Moment, increasing the stability after continuous fire, which is okay. Then importantly, we have Casket Mag. This is a very, very good perk with sidearms, increasing the magazine size at the cost of a little bit of stability. And then lastly, Rangefinder, increasing the range. Like, range is super important on sidearms, so Rangefinder is going to be excellent. The combination of this plus Casket Mag plus, like, you know, either Zen Moment or Feeding Frenzy, both are going to be decent, makes an overall solid roll. And moving on from there, we have a very, very good PvP rocket launcher roll. If you need a good legendary rocket launcher for PvP, this is probably going to be your best choice for this week. It's the Something Wicked. Firstly, soft launch, increasing the velocity by a pretty decent amount and then decreasing the stability. Who cares about stability? After that, we have life support and battle runner. Both are okay, with life support probably being the best. And then, very importantly, we have heavy payload, increasing the blast radius to that maximum. So you're going to have very good velocity and the absolute best blast radius you can get, and that's combined with the final perk, Tracking. Aiming down sights can lock onto your target, probably the best perk for PvP, so this is just a very, very good PvP rocket launcher. So the Crucible Quartermaster is definitely banging this week. He's got a lot of really good stuff for sale. The other vendors, not so much. So let's take a look at the Vanguard Quartermaster. Firstly, we have a pretty solid roll on this Angel's Advocate. This is another very unique scout rifle, belongs to the Mida multi-tool damage archetype, which is a very good damage archetype for PvP. Gonna let you kill in 4 headshots when shooting actually faster than other scouts that kill in 4 headshots, like the Vision of Confluence. And we've got some okay sights, but importantly we have Rodeo, which is going to decrease your vertical recoil, definitely not bad. After that, Hand Laid Stock. Yes, it does decrease the range, but it hugely increases the stability, which is very much what you want on this archetype. And actually after that we have Explosive Rounds, so if you want to bring this thing into PvE, this is going to be actually pretty decent as well. And then lastly, Hidden Hand, again just increasing that aim assist and making this gun easier to use. So Rodeo plus Hand Laid Stock plus Hidden Hand, that's a pretty solid PvP roll. And moving on from there, the only other Vanguard weapon we're going to look at is this 7th Sense Sniper Rifle. We've got two of the best sights you can get. Longview SLR-10, just a little bit more than the lowest possible zoom you can find on a sniper sight, and it has a huge bonus to aim assist. It's basically like getting half of a hidden hand just for using this sight. Very good sight. And then if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you can go with the ambush. Has no increase to aim assist if you don't want that, and has the lowest possible zoom you can get. After that, we have spray and pray, which is okay, but we actually then have army of one, which I think is super underrated on a sniper. Almost all your kills, especially your headshot kills, are unassisted, and getting a huge chunk to your melee and grenade for getting those kills is no joke. After that, we have Quick Draw, you can draw this weapon faster, and Snapshot, you can aim down sights faster. Both of those perks are some of the best perks you can get on sniper rifles, and they both come on this one sniper roll, so that's definitely pretty good. After that, we have Unflinching. When you're getting shot at, you flinch less, hugely beneficial for winning fights in PvP. So, two of the best sights you can get, plus Army of One, which is decent, plus, Snapshot, plus Unflinching. This is a very good, arguably a god roll PvP sniper rifle. Now moving on from there, however, we have the faction vendors, and starting us off, we have Dead Orbit. Some pretty decent weapons available for sale this week. Firstly, we have a pretty solid Keystone 01 Scout Rifle. This was actually the highlight last week. It was a PvE god roll, and this is now just a few perks different from that god roll. Firstly, and importantly, you have explosive rounds. Exactly what you're looking at for this high damaging scout rifle archetype in PvE. Gonna let you spread around your damage and make this thing so much better. And then we have small bore and importantly Outlaw. Outlaw letting you reload so much faster when you get a headshot kill, and that's also going to be very good for PvE. Ending everything off, we have Hidden Hand, which is definitely more of a PvP perk. Last week, this had explosive rounds, outlaw, and crowd control, which was so much better. But if you're jealous of your friends using their keystones and you want something that's, pretty damn close, only one perk off, you can definitely get this week's roll instead. Now, moving on from there, we have a very, very good roll on the Bitter Edge 010. This sniper rifle has one of the best aim assists period in Destiny. I think it's the second highest in the game, like out of all the sniper rifles, and its roll this week is amazing. We have Short Gaze SLH-10, one of the best sights you can get. After that, Snapshot, so good with sniper rifles. After that, Triple Tap, so good. More good in PvE, but even in PvP, if you can get those 3 rapid headshots, you basically get one more round, which is a whole other kill, and that's no joke. And then lastly, Hidden Hand. Gonna increase one of the best aim assists you can possibly get by even more. Like, this thing is basically going to aim itself when you shoot it. Like, it's insane. And lastly, something that's a lot less insane but still worth going over is the Unto Dust 00 roll this week. Firstly, we have Hard Launch, increasing the blast radius and the velocity. After that, Snapshot is decent. Field Scout only comes up rarely in PvE. Javelin is actually quite decent, increasing the velocity, and then Tracking. So if for whatever reason you didn't like the Crucible rocket launcher for PvP, this is also doing a decent impression, but just with a worse blast radius, but a much higher rate of fire. After that, we have Future War Cult, featuring a Fatebringer. And yes, I'm being serious. This week's The Wail hand cannon is doing a spot-on Fatebringer impersonation. We have, firstly, explosive rounds. The best perk you're looking for on these, high damaging, slow rate of fire guns. All hand cannons for PvE god rolls are looking for explosive rounds. After that, we have Perfect Balance, increasing the stability quite a bit, going to make this gun a lot easier to use. And then Firefly. When you get a kill, the enemies explode. So seriously, Firefly plus explosive rounds, those are the 2 perks that make the Fatebringer as good as it is. Now, the Fatebringer has Outlaw, which is, arguably better than Perfect Balance. Not arguably, it is better than Perfect Balance. But seriously, if you can't get that gun, pick up this Wail, because it's going to be very, very good in PvE. Moving on from there, we have a very good PvP Wormwood sidearm roll. We've got a couple of good sights, and then very importantly, we have high caliber rounds. Increases the amount of flinch you cause enemies to have when you shoot them, and super important when you're trying to win those close range sidearm gunfights. So seriously, one of the best perks you can get on any sidearm, and that's backed up with, you know, fitted stock is okay, and Army of One is actually going to be more than okay, but then lastly we have Rangefinder, which is, again, you want range on sidearms. Rangefinder does that. So, high caliber rounds plus Rangefinder. If this had hand loaded in the middle category, it would be an absolute god roll. So this is just one perk off from being so. But still, if you need a good sidearm for PvP, pick this up. This is probably the best one you can get. Now moving on from there, we have yet another decent PvP rocket launcher roll with the Warpath. This shoots a bit faster than the Crucible one, has an equally insane blast radius, but has worse velocity. However, thankfully, soft launch and countermass increase the velocity at the cost of a little bit of blast radius. However, we then have Snapshot, which is okay, Flared Magwell, which is actually pretty decent, and then Heavy Payload, increasing the blast radius back up to that absolute maximum. And then lastly, Tracking, which as we know is quite good. So we've got 3 different very good PvP rocket launcher rolls. So this is your definite week to go and get one if you want one. And moving on from there, the last vendor we're going over is the new Monarchy vendor. And we've got some pretty decent rolls actually, especially with this Free Will hand cannon. This is a surprisingly good roll. I've never gone over this hand cannon, but this week it may be the time to pick one up. Firstly, explosive rounds. Again, the absolute top tier when you're talking about a PvE perk. And then we've got Hammer Forged, increasing the range by, actually a decent amount, which is definitely pretty decent. But then we have Outlaw, again, massively increasing your reload when you get a precision kill. Now that's good in and of itself, but it combines with the final perk, Reactive Reload. You get a damage bonus when you reload this weapon after getting a kill, and that is a wombo combo. Seriously, explosive rounds making this really good in PvE, and then Outlaw making it reload so much faster after getting kills, and then Reactive Reload, we are going to be getting a damage bonus all the time. It is so easy to activate the Outlaw reloads in PvE and then getting that pretty substantial damage bonus. Like, this is one of the faster firing hand cannon archetypes, right? But then if you're getting that reactive reload bonus, you're going to be doing the same amount of damage, if not more, than the medium rate of fire like the Fatebringer archetype. This is actually a pretty deadly PvE roll. Consider getting this. I think the Wail roll is definitely going to be better and more consistent, but this might be a lot more fun. But moving on from there, we have the last weapon we're going to take a look at, the Impeacher Sidearm. This weapon has, firstly, hipfire, which is actually okay with sidearms, and then we have armor-piercing rounds, and going to increase the range by a little bit, so it's actually not terrible. Then, importantly, hand-loaded, going to increase the range more than a little bit, one of the best perks you can get on sidearms. After that, ending us off, we have Reactive Reload. Again, quite good, and with sidearms, which naturally come with ridiculously fast reloads, you're going to be able to activate Reactive Reload very, very easily. So this is definitely, a good perk you're looking for on sidearms. So definitely check this Impeacher out. And so guys, that is it for the best vendor rolls available this week. If you're a PvP player, the Palindrome is absolutely the best thing you want to pick up. And if you're a PvE player, I think the Future War Cult Wail is probably the best thing you can pick up as well, unless you already have a Fatebringer. Guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny content and upcoming Destiny 2 content, as well as not missing out on any of these weekly vendor role videos, be sure to slap that subscribe button. But if you actually want the subscribe button to do what you think it does, you're going to need to press the bell beside subscribe so you actually are notified of new uploads. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.